Okay, today we're diving into a really significant piece of legislation for Pakistan's capital, the Domestic Violence Bill of 2025. This whole thing is designed to build a system of protection, relief, and rehabilitation for anyone facing violence in the one place they should feel the safest, their own home.
You know, we all think of our home as a sanctuary, right? A safe space. But what happens when that's not the case? When your home is actually the source of danger? What do you do then? What legal options are there? That's the fundamental question this bill is trying to answer.
See, every law exists for a reason. It's written to solve a specific problem. So to really get what this bill is all about, we first have to look at the crisis it's designed to fix. Why was this law seen as so incredibly necessary? Well, the bill's own introduction, its statement of objects and reasons, gets right to the heart of it. It doesn't pull any punches, calling domestic violence a pervasive and widespread issue. That kind of language in a legal document tells you just how urgent the situation is.
And if you want to put a number on it, well, it's a tough one to swallow. The bill points to the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, which found that a staggering 1 in 3 women in the country has experienced some form of domestic abuse. 1 in 3. That single statistic is pretty much the core reason this entire legal framework was built.
So the why is tragically clear, but how does the law actually propose to solve it? Well, it all starts with definitions. The power of any law is in the details, so let's break down exactly who this law protects and what, legally, counts as violence.
First up, who's protected? The law defines an aggrieved person in a way that's intentionally very broad and inclusive. This isn't just about husbands and wives. The law covers women, men, children, transgender individuals, and other vulnerable people. Basically anyone in a domestic relationship, which means people living together as a family unit.
Now, this part is absolutely crucial. The legal definition of domestic violence goes way beyond just physical harm. Section 3 lays out a whole spectrum of abuse, and it specifically includes emotional, psychological, sexual, and economic abuse.
And to make it crystal clear, the bill breaks that big definition down into these 4 key categories. This is so important because it helps everyone understand what behaviors are legally considered domestic violence. It's not just about what leaves a bruise.
Let's just zoom in on emotional abuse for a second, because it's often so hard to define and frankly often dismissed. The bill doesn't leave it vague. It gives concrete examples: obsessive jealousy, constant insults, stalking, threats, even willfully abandoning someone. This kind of detail is vital for proving harm that you can't see.
Okay, so we've covered the why behind the law and the what it covers. Now for the most important part, the how. How does this piece of paper actually protect someone in real time? Well, the answer lies in a set of very specific court orders.
And the whole process is designed for speed, which is critical in these situations. Once a person petitions the court, a hearing has to be scheduled within just 7 days. A judge can issue an immediate temporary order for protection, and the whole case has to be wrapped up within 90 days. These aren't suggestions. They're strict built-in timelines to get help fast.
The main tool in this whole system is the protection order. Think of it like a legal stop sign. It's a direct command from the court that can forbid the abuser from committing any more violence, from contacting the victim in any way, or even from coming within a certain distance of them.
Then there's the residence order, and this one is a huge deal. It tackles one of the biggest fears for victims. If I report this, where will I live? This order confirms the victim's right to stay in the shared home. And, get this, it can legally bar the abuser from entering that home, even if they own it. The goal is to make sure that seeking help doesn't mean becoming homeless.
The law also understands that abuse often has a massive financial impact, so a court can order monetary relief. This forces the abuser to cover costs like medical bills, lost wages, and financial support for the victim and their children. It's a direct counter to economic control.
And of course, the protection extends to the most vulnerable. If children or other vulnerable people are involved, the court can issue a temporary custody order, placing them with a safe guardian while the case moves forward. It's all about ensuring their immediate safety.
Now let's be real, navigating the legal system is daunting for anyone, let alone someone in crisis. That's why the bill creates an official support structure. You're not supposed to go through this alone. Let's look at who is tasked with helping people.
The system has 2 main parts. You can think of the Protection Committee as the air traffic control. They handle the big picture, the strategy, the policy. Then you have the Protection Officer. They're your person on the ground, the one who provides direct assistance with everything from filing the paperwork to finding a safe place to stay. All right, so a court order is a powerful piece of paper, but it's only as powerful as its enforcement, right? What happens if someone just ignores it? Well, the bill is very, very clear about the consequences.
If you look at Section 12 of the bill, there's no ambiguity. It states that violating one of these court orders shall be an offense. So what does that actually mean? What's the punishment?
The penalty is serious. We're talking up to 1 year in prison and a fine of up to 100,000 rupees. And here's a critical detail. That fine gets paid directly to the aggrieved person as a form of compensation. This gives the law some very real teeth.
So, after breaking all of this down, the detailed definitions, the fast-track protections, the support systems, and the serious penalties, we're left with the ultimate question. On paper, this bill provides a really comprehensive legal framework, but will its implementation actually succeed in creating safer homes in the capital? That is the hope, and of course, the challenge that lies ahead.